Hey, I'm showing here a technique called active assisted shoulder range of motion. So this is something that we might use early on in a shoulder injury, particularly one that's quite painful, that it's hard to move it through much of a range of motion. So one of the principles that we're working with here is that if a joint is injured, we might want a period of time where we stabilize it, don't move it, but at some point we want to introduce motion, particularly rhythmic motion, tend to help stimulate the joint, get some fluid turnover, what's called a synovial fluid, can help to reduce inflammation, can help to normalize that joint. And so if it's that time in your rehab process, start moving it, this can be a helpful way to get started. Additionally, in the shoulder, there's a condition called adhesive capsulitis, often called frozen shoulder, in which usually it occurs after an injury when somebody doesn't move their shoulder at all. Then they lose range of motion, particularly coming out to the side, external rotation, and coming forward. And so for that reason, I don't like to immobilize shoulders for too long unless there's some type of surgical indication or some other reason to, because it might put us at a higher risk of that adhesive capsulitis. So this can be a very comfortable technique that can help with that range of motion early on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a stick, a PVC, a dowel rod, a golf club, whatever you have, and I'm gonna grab it with I'm gonna say my right side, here's my painful side, with my thumb up here. I like that thumb up, that promotes external rotation. Then I'm gonna use my uninjured side to just get some motion here. And I'm really just gonna explore all kind of vectors as I go around. So I'm gonna go kind of up in front, up out to the side, kind of up out this way. And what I'm doing is I'm using my left hand here to drive. And so I can use as little or as much work on my painful side as I need to be fairly pain-free as I do this. So early on, your right hand might just be kind of going for a ride, where I'm just kind of taking it through this rhythmic range of motion. I can go straight out to the side. And so I really just want to explore all of these vectors because the shoulder is kind of a very mobile joint. If it feels scary to go at the pace I'm going, you can go a little slower. That's totally cool. And really what I'm doing is I'm gripping this thing pretty tight, and then I'm just letting my left arm do all the work here. And then as you progress, you can start to go further. Again, I want this very comfortable, tolerable, but you can start to go further, and then you can start to do some of the work with your painful side. So now it's hard to see, but I'm doing a little bit more with my right arm here. And so we want to do this fairly frequently. There's a saying in physical therapy that motion is lotion. And so typically I do 1 to 3 minutes, several times per day. And again, I'm not forcing some kind of end range stretch, but I'm just going rhythmically in my available motion, maybe touching that end range of motion to try to kind of nudge this forward as I progress along. So that's active assisted range of motion with a PVC.